You know, the hard times, the struggle, everything's kind of like the glamorous side of things on social media in regards to trading. Trading is not this get-rich-quick scheme that everyone thinks it is. Well, what's up guys, welcome back to a new video. So it's currently around about 2:30 in the UK right now, Tuesday afternoon, September 17th I think. And yeah, all the focus work done for this morning so far, which is good. But overall for today, just watching pound Aussie, which is probably a few hours away. It's hard to judge at this point, but yeah, likely a few hours away, probably this evening. So yeah, I wanted to jump on the charts and show you exactly what I'm looking for on pound Aussie. So jumping right into the charts now, let's take a look at the daily chart on pound Aussie. So pound Aussie, bigger structure is looking very clean. Obviously takes time to develop and things like that, but overall bigger structure, we've got this bigger ascending formation as you can see outlined here. And what I'm looking for is a potential short-term sell. So what I mean by that is we have this intersection. We can see this first touch, second touch, looking for that third touch here within that intersection, which I'll show you on the lower time frames in a minute as well. So what I'm eyeing up is a potential short-term sell to here that could actually potentially break through. So I'm looking at that first target around about here, obviously short-term targets as well, with potential that this could break up, form the bigger structure, completion of the pattern before the bigger sell longer term. So that's looking interesting. We are getting some strength on the pound pairs recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if this breaks up from here as well. So I do have that in mind. So if we did get a clear break above this essentially acting as the line in the sand for me, essentially. If we get a break above here, continuation, then I'd be looking for more long opportunities to complete this overall structure. So it is looking interesting, definitely in some key areas right now, so keen to see how this develops. So pound Aussie, looking at this bigger structure here, we have this impulse, this acting as a bigger continuation, looking for the short-term sells. So first real target for me will be here, see how price reacts, and then bottom of structure for probably a 10+% trade. So with that in mind, what am I looking for? So I'm eyeing up a few things on pound Aussie. So real things we can see, if we just look at this price action here, we've got this impulse down. Now we're just forming this continuation in the form of this double top formation. So I'm looking to see if price moves up just a little bit more. If we get any solid rejections around here, we've got the 1, 2, 3, we've got the completion of the pattern, we've got the double top formation. So if we do get these rejections here, then I'll be in the trade. I'll be 100% in that trade. Likely, it's hard to tell with stop size right now, but 40 pip stop, judging by pound Aussie behaviour. 40 pip stop, bottom of the pattern, we've got just over 6%, and then if we do break the low of the pattern for just under 10, and then if we continue to break, then we've got 13%. So definitely a nice play. If we do head a little bit higher, and this could definitely happen, then what I'm looking for then. If we do break the trend line, it's not necessarily about the fact that we've broken, it's about how we break. That's the key thing. Trend lines are subjective, it's about the nature of how price breaks. So with that in mind, if we get something along these lines and it's pretty corrective, or we get any retrace around these areas, then this will be an area of value for me, and I'll be looking to sell that short term. So with that in mind, again, probably 35 40 pip stop. At this point, this is the ideal situation because we have that 1, 2, 3 double top. We've broken the previous high at this point. This would be nice. Overall target for 7%, down to the low 10%, and then even further, just under 15. So it's definitely a nice play. Definitely eyeing up that for today, and I wanted to bring it on board because it's hard to say, but it's probably a few hours away, maybe tonight, tomorrow. So wanted to show you that, and yeah, if we can get this on camera, then all the bonus. If not, then it's all good. But yeah, that's what I'm watching for today. So that's the breakdown on pound Aussie. It's definitely shaping up, may need a little bit more time, but it is getting close. So I wanted to bring you behind the scenes and show you what I'm thinking in terms of that. But there's definitely a few pairs shaping up. Euro dollar, Euro CAD in particular that I'm watching. They're probably a few days away, 3-4 days maybe towards the end of the week. So that's definitely my favourite pairs going into the rest of the week, but it just needs a little bit more development. So right now, just gonna head to the office, the gym, the barbers, a few other errands as well, and then join you back here later this afternoon. So without further ado, speak to you soon.
I take a cold hard look at the world now. Hold my hand down, got a plan now. I'ma help me to change cause I can now. Here I stand now, take my hand down. No pain, no pain, no shame. Work hard, play hard. Okay, I think I get it now. Don't wanna let him down. I'ma take the ground and speak my mind out loud. Here I go, proud of my notes. Teach 'em what I wrote, teach 'em all the hope. Keep 'em on the road to the dream. All I need is a team, build your own self-esteem. You can do anything, prove everything. Say what you mean and believe in your dream. Find that thing that you love, that you really wanna be. And don't give up till you've given absolutely everything. Yeah.
Give me a chance now to prove that you're something. In your own head, all these thoughts you're confronting. We've all been there when you feel like you're nothing. Shut that shit down, crush those thoughts and just trust me.
So jumping back on the charts now on pound Aussie, I've just been triggering the trade literally 2 minutes ago. So what I was looking at, we started to form this clear ascending wedge at the top of the structure, which we had essentially another 1, 2, 3, just acted as extra confidence, and just been triggering the trade. So happy with that, regardless of the result of whether this plays out, whether it's a loss, whether it's a break even, whatever it is, it fits to my plan. So happy with that trade, and just taking screenshots. We'll see how that develops. But of course, like always, going to keep you updated, and we'll see how this trade plays out and how it develops. So whilst pound Aussie is developing, I thought I'd bring you behind the scenes and show you what I think the trading space doesn't show enough, and that's number one, the hard work, and you know, the hard times, the struggle. Everything's kind of like the glamorous side of things on social media in regards to trading. Trading is not this get rich quick scheme that everyone thinks it is. So, you know, someone coming to trading right now probably searches on YouTube, finds the get rich quick mindset in some sort or another, in terms of like, oh, trade for less than 15 minutes a day mindset, and it's just constantly everywhere, which is definitely possible to do that to a certain extent, but at the same time, it's just the wrong vibe to be giving people coming into trading. Like, people come into trading, and I generally get messages of people thinking they can flip like £300 into 6 figures, $1 million in 3 months. Like, it's just crazy. So it's just the wrong mindset. You want to be approaching trading in terms of a business rather than, you know, going to a casino and flip money. Like, it's just entirely different system. And this is such an important point to mention, because so many people come into trading and try and search for that get rich quick naturally. They find like signal services and stuff like that that can, you know, claim to provide them with an income, but the thing is with that, it's not sustainable. What if that person was to stop trading tomorrow? Like, you've got an income source, if it is an income source, to then just fall off the face of the earth. Like, it's just not sustainable. It's just a wrong mindset to be in. So build the skill, focus on long term. Trading is a business, not a get rich quick scheme. I also wanted to give you a clear insight into my mind right now in terms of my trading journey. So I'm currently going through the process of eliminating self-sabotage and any limiting beliefs. So I didn't previously know that I had self-sabotage present. It was only when a mentor pointed out on a coaching call to me that it may be worth digging into just a little bit to find if there is any self-sabotage or limiting beliefs potentially holding me back. And that was present in my July results. In July, I was up about 6% profit, and then managed to finish the month on break even, which was kind of a red flag in his eyes, because essentially I was sticking to my trading plan, you know, 90 to 95% of the time during July, and then I kind of spiraled out a little bit and my emotions get a hold of myself a little bit. So it's kind of just being self-aware in that respect. So I didn't feel like I had any self-sabotage until I started asking myself questions, and I wanted to talk you through this because it felt uncomfortable. It felt uncomfortable to actually ask myself the questions of, okay, well, do I have any self-sabotage? Do I have any limiting beliefs? What's my association with money like? It's such a key part of trading to dive into this stuff, and you wouldn't think so coming into trading, but this can potentially hold you back, and I believe it was holding me back just a little bit. So to break through that almost next barrier, this is something that I'm working on right now. So after reflecting a little bit and digging into, okay, well, asking myself questions, started to get these memories from my past experience, I guess, from childhood and stuff would crop up in terms of like money is hard to make, or money doesn't grow on trees, like these phrases that I heard growing up, which is, I'm being very careful not to slip into that victim mentality, but I think it's important to talk about it at the same time. But the most important thing is being aware of it and then moving past it. But I thought I'd bring behind the scenes and share this. So those are the limiting beliefs that I found personally when I was digging deeper. And the biggest battle, 90% of the battle, I believe, is actually figuring out that you have limiting beliefs. I felt myself resisting the question. I didn't really want to dive into it a bit deeper. It was only when I got honest with myself and really dug deeper that those answers began to come. So that's the important point I want to mention, and this is the reason. You may have seen this at the start of the video in terms of empowering beliefs. This is going to seem cliche for anyone clicking on the video, but it's such an important point of it, because what I'm trying to do is reprogram my subconscious mind. And you can see here, more money equals more opportunities. I'm a magnet for money. More money means more positive impact and value to people. Money comes to me now and always. Making money is easy. Money comes to me effortlessly, easily. So that's the empowering beliefs I'm trying to get into my subconscious mind. And you know, it's going to seem cliche if you click on the video and see this, but it's a process I'm going through right now. I know it's going to take my trading to the next level because it's in association with that. Because you may find self-sabotage within your trading. It could be, you know, being up 5% and then hesitating to take a go-to setup because subconsciously you know that trade has the potential to make you money. So it's almost like, as crazy as it sounds, you don't want to make that money that the trade is going to make you. It's almost like that mindset. So in my case, it was the opposite. It was in terms of, okay, well, I was up 6%. I then found a way to then lose that money, because if you don't feel worthy of making the money, or there's like a little limited belief in there, it can hold you back. So important to be self-aware of that and actually figure out what you have. But yeah, that's the reason I'm doing this. Try to reprogram my subconscious mind, and I know this is going to elevate me to new levels. So that's what I'm working on right now, and how I'm doing it is I'm reaffirming these affirmations into my mind each morning, different one pretty much every day, and I'm being self-aware in the respect that this is a self-talk journal. So every couple of days I'm just checking in with myself and writing my psychology out, and just checking in with myself like that, you can see, and just figuring out, okay, well, what's my psychology like been these last couple of weeks? Do I need to adjust anything? And just keeping on top of that. So that's a process that I'm going to be keeping on top with over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Just thought I'd share that because that's the process that I'm currently going through, and enough people don't talk about this stuff, so just wanted to share that. And yeah, for anyone going through the same process of actually thinking that you have limited beliefs, it's important to dive into it. Obviously dig into the technicals first, because that's the foundation. But if you feel like it's deeper than that, then it's important to ask yourself those quality questions and dig into the root cause. One last point that I want to mention actually as well is that once you figure out you've got self-sabotage, I think it's so important to move past that mindset, identify the limited beliefs or self-sabotage, but then get past that mentality, because saying that you have limited beliefs or self-sabotage is almost self-sabotage in itself. It can hold you back. So it's important to be past that and get yourself in this mindset in terms of empowering beliefs, because that's what's going to get you to the next level. So hopefully that helps. In terms of pound Aussie, so it's been a couple of hours since I last showed you. It hasn't really moved, to be honest. I don't know if you can see that. Hasn't really moved. It's currently hovering around break even. So I will update you in a few hours, see how that plays out, and keep you updated. Good morning guys, so it's now the morning after. So I took a 1% loss on pound Aussie, but at the time that I took the 1% loss, nothing had actually changed. So I then set another entry order and just been triggering into trade about 5-10 minutes ago. So bring you on board and let's take a look at the trade. So taking a look at pound Aussie short, so this was the 1% loss which I took this morning. Happy with the trade overall. We still had the top of the structure. We've broken out the double top at this point, which I pointed out yesterday. Broken the double top slightly, correctively, topping out and looking for that short. So got involved on the 15 minute. Price began to drop a little bit, but it wasn't impulsive, and then just trickled back up. At this point, nothing had changed still in the trade at this point, obviously because my stop's above here. And then it was here. So it's here with that little wick there. Could have that's where I got taken out. So yeah, I could look back and say, okay, well I could have had a 40 pip stop, but again, still would have been taken out for the trade. So happy with that based on my plan. Happy with the trade overall. It's just a game of probability. So with that in mind, at this point, this is where I then looked at the chart again. Nothing had actually changed structurally. If anything, this just actually created more of a high probability setup to then complete to the downside. So again, playing the short-term move, but again, this is still a high probability setup. So at this point, that's where I then dropped to the 15 minute. I could see that we started to form this pattern within the pattern. So you can see the nature of this, right? The psychology of this. We have this bigger pattern, we then have the pattern within the pattern, and we start forming patterns within patterns within patterns. So a little bit of inception there, but where I got involved in the trade was here. Let's take this back. So it's here. So again, top of the structure, drop to the 15 minute to use as a filter, just so I can get in with a little bit of a tighter stop, judging by pound Aussie's behaviour. And we got this retrace candle on the 15 minute. That's where I then set my entry order. So after that, didn't get triggered in with this one. It was the next 15 minute candle. So it was here. Here's where it triggered me in, and then we just start to drop to the downside a little bit. So yeah, currently involved in the trade. We'll see how it develops, and obviously this could take a little bit to play out. So what I'm going to do is another trade recap on my Instagram. So follow my Instagram at Michael Bamber, and I'll be updating you after this trade is closed onto my entry, how I manage the trade, and how it plays out. So that's the recap of the pound Aussie position. So the 1% loss taken this morning and then got back in on the trade. So that's the key thing there. I used to, you know, take the 1% losses, think that something's changed, and then not get back in the actual trade that's a winner. So in this case, nothing had changed structurally once I'd taken that 1% loss. And you know, that trade was in my plan. I'd take it over and over and over again, and then nothing had changed, so I got back in. So that's the key thing, getting back in once you've taken a loss if nothing's changed structurally. So happy with that trade. We'll see how that develops, but overall, hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it provided insight into what I'm going through right now in terms of self-sabotage, limited beliefs, things like that. So yeah, watch out for that trade recap on Instagram, and I'll catch you all soon.
With